Although Douglas won the Senate seat by a slim margin, the debates had served to thrust Lincoln into the national spotlight. In a brilliant political move, Lincoln actively lobbied to have a scrapbook of clippings and major speeches of the debates published in book form in 1860. It became an immediate bestseller. That would be an interesting book to read. So it was that within 16 months of losing the Senate race, Lincoln was nominated as the Republican presidential candidate. Let me skip a few pages and we just have one more paragraph, and then we'll go to quotes from Lincoln himself. After his rise to national recognition from the Lincoln-Douglas debates, Lincoln captured the Republican presidential nomination, then the presidency itself, receiving 180 out of 303 electoral votes, and 40% of the popular vote. When Lincoln assumed office in March of 1861, he did so understanding that he confronted a greater challenge than even Washington himself had faced. But the same qualities that had served him well in life would aid him in the biggest crisis in the life of the nation. Scholars point to his steadfast character, molded through a lifetime of adversity, coupled with his political genius, his extraordinary capacity to adapt to new circumstances, as key traits that would enable him to successfully lead the country through the Civil War. I think all that last bit there is just, praise for the dear leader and stuff. I mean, he obviously wasn't the most fantastic military leader of history. I don't think so, or we wouldn't have that many deaths. There were more deaths on the northern side than the southern. I don't know if that's significant at all, but anyways, to page 8. Quote from Lincoln himself. This is from his first political speech at Pappsville, Illinois, and in 1832. Lincoln at the time was 23 years old and did not win the election. It was the only time he was ever defeated by popular vote. So here's the beginning of his speech. His first political speech. This is the total of it. It's a paragraph long. Fellow citizens, I presume you all know who I am. I am humble Abraham Lincoln. I have been solicited by my friends to become a candidate for the legislature. My politics are short and sweet, like the old woman's dance. I am in favor of a national bank. I am in favor of the internal improvement system and a high protective tariff. These are my sentiments and political principles. If elected, I shall be thankful. If not, it will be all the same. So he was definitely not a laissez-faire activist, was he? Which is probably one of the reasons the moderns love him so much. Skipping a few pages. And now this is from notes for the Lincoln-Douglas debate at Ottawa in 1858. Here's from his notes. I was losing interest in politics when the repeal of the Missouri Compromise aroused me again. In this age and in this country, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail. Against it, nothing can succeed. Whoever molds public sentiment goes deeper than he who enacts statutes or pronounces judicial decisions. He makes possible the enforcement of these, else possible. Seems to me it should have said else impossible, and maybe that's a misprint, I don't know. Interesting quote there. Skipping to page 24 now, quite a ways down. Now this is a speech at Peoria, Illinois in 1854. And it's a speech about the Kansas-Nebraska Act. We have before us the chief material enabling us to correctly judge whether the repeal of the Missouri Compromise is right or wrong. I think, and shall try to show, that it is wrong. It is wrong in direct effect, letting slavery into Kansas and Nebraska, and wrong in its prospective principle, allowing it to spread to every other part of the wide world, where men can be found inclined to take it. In other words, we can't let people vote on this. This declared indifference, but as I must think covert, real zeal for the spread of slavery, I cannot but hate. So he says some people declare indifference. They don't really So they're saying, I don't care if we get slavery enacted everywhere or not, but we should leave it up to the people to vote. Lincoln says he detests and hates this declared indifference. He says, I hate it because of the monstrous injustice of slavery itself. I hate it because it deprives our Republican example of its just influence in the world. It enables the enemies of free institutions with plausibility to taunt us as hypocrites, causes the real friends of freedom to doubt our sincerity, and especially because it forces so many really good men amongst ourselves into an open war with the very fundamental principles of civil liberty, criticizing the Declaration of Independence and insisting that there is no right principle of action but self-interest. Now the next quote, the only comment I can give us is, who can say Lincoln did not hate slavery? Lincoln hated slavery passionately. This is in a letter to Joshua F. Speed, written in August 1855. Quote, as a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. We now practically read it, all men are created equal except Negroes. When the know-nothings get control, it will read, all men are created equal except Negroes and foreigners and Catholics. When it comes to this, I shall prefer emigrating to some country where they make no pretense of loving liberty. To Russia, for instance, where despotism can be taken pure, without the base alloy of hypocrisy. He hated slavery. He thought it was disgusting. He thought it was a part of our system that should be abolished. He hated it. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. Letter to H.L. Pierce in 1859. Agreed, Mr. Lincoln. Agreed. So, to draw a close to a wonderful series in which some historical truth was laid bare, a salute to Lincoln. Thank you for freeing the slaves as you did. A tragedy that we inherited the situation that was inherited, but awfully good thing we didn't have a compromising, willy-nilly, zero aggression policy setting in the presidency back then. Allowing the slave-holding South to secede. Get this, the contradiction. They are so in favor of freedom, they will allow slavery. It is laughable.